There are many things we need to know in this world. Some of them can camouflage and can also resemble what they are carrying. We as humans must be alert and careful with what is around us. With a cool and warm place, it does not rule out the possibility of this predator. Animals belonging to the group of reptiles have no legs and have long bodies that are widespread throughout the world. A predatory instinct that is no longer ignored. The great instinct. Snake. Scientifically, all types of snakes are grouped in one suborder, namely serpents, and are also members of the order Squamata or scaly reptiles along with lizards. However, the serpent snake itself is classified in the clade or Ophidia branch, namely a group of reptiles with or without legs, long bodies, and have a physiology that is very different from lizards. Snakes are thought to have evolved from land lizards since the mid-Jurassic era or around 174.1 to 163.5 million years ago. The oldest known fossil snake, Eophis underwoodi, is a small snake that lived on mainland southern England about 167 million years ago. The main characteristics of snakes are that they have long bodies and no legs. However, these characteristics are also shared by several types of lizards, for example Burton's pencil lizard. Snakes have no sense of hearing at all. But snakes can feel vibrations through their lower jaw when they stick to the ground or on a surface. Snakes do not have eyelids that can be opened and closed, and their eyes are always open throughout their lives. But the snake's eyes are covered with clear scales that protect it from dirt. Another main characteristic is that the snake's tongue is bifurcated, with each branch being long and pointed, and can be extended out through the cavity in the middle of its lips. In other words, snakes can stick out their tongues when their mouths are tightly closed. Snakes stick out their tongues to detect odors in the air, while snakes only use their noses for breathing. Each branch of the snake's tongue is equipped with glands that can capture odor particles in the air, then the snake will pull its tongue back to its mouth. Next, the odor particles that stick to his tongue are channeled to an odor recognition organ located on the roof of his upper jaw. This organ is called the Jacobson organ. Once identified, the organ sends information to the snake's brain. The brain will process it and determine the next thing the snake will do, based on the results of identifying the smell, for example hunting for the source of the smell in the form of its prey. Some types of snakes have special organs to identify the temperature of their environment. This tool is called a thermoreceptor, and is useful for snakes to recognize and track the whereabouts of warm-blooded animals such as birds and mammals. This organ can be in the form of a pair of holes located between the eyes and nostrils, for example in crotality snakes, or in the form of a layer located between the scales of the upper lip, for example in Boidae and Pythonidae species. Snakes are one of the most successful reptiles in the world. They can be found in all types of habitats such as forests, grasslands, deserts, rivers, lakes, highlands, plantations, rice fields, sea, and also in human settlements. But like other reptiles, snakes do not exist and cannot be found in cold areas such as on mountain peaks and in areas around the Arctic, or there are several species that are able to live in areas near the North Pole. Snakes also do not exist and are not found in Ireland, New Zealand, Greenland, isolated islands in the Pacific such as Hawaii, and in the Atlantic Ocean. Most snakes live on the ground. Some live on trees or plants. However, most species of snakes on the ground can climb trees. Apart from land and trees, snakes also live in water. There are even groups of snakes that live in water and never venture on land at all, for example the Hydrophyte group of snakes. Snakes are carnivorous reptiles with efficient predation. Snake prey consists of various types of animals that are smaller than their bodies. Tree snakes and land snakes prey on birds, mammals, frogs, and other types of reptiles, including their eggs. Large snakes such as reticulated pythons can prey on goats, deer, and even humans. Snakes that live in waters prey on fish, frogs, tadpoles, and even fish eggs. Snakes eat all their prey without leaving anything and are capable of consuming prey 3 times larger than the diameter of their heads. This is because their jaw is lower and can separate from the upper jaw. In addition, snakes have backward-facing teeth that hold their prey in their mouths. This prevents the prey from escaping. Snakes eat their prey whole, without chewing it into smaller pieces. The teeth in the snake's mouth do not have a function for chewing, but only for holding the prey so that it does not come off easily. In order to swallow smoothly, snakes usually choose to swallow prey with their heads first. Like most other reptiles, to warm their body temperature and also to help smooth digestion, snakes often bask in the sun. As exothermic animals, sunbathing is one way snakes maintain their body temperature externally. Snakes that live in subtropical areas always hibernate during the winter. Snakes also have to shed their skin 3 to 6 times a year. About 70% of all types of snakes reproduce by laying eggs or are oviparous. The number of eggs can be just a few, up to tens or hundreds of eggs. Snakes lay their eggs in holes in the ground, caves, holes in rotting wood, or under piles of dry leaves. Some types of snakes are known to wait for their eggs until they hatch. Even pythons incubate their eggs. Some snakes such as striped snakeheads, shoot snakes and sea carrion snakes, give birth to young. In fact, these snakes do not give birth like mammals, but rather the eggs develop and hatch inside the mother's body or are ovoviviparous, then emerge as small snakes. A type of primitive snake, namely the blind snake or wire snake, Indotyphlops brahminus, so far only the female is known. This snake, which resembles a small worm, is thought to be able to lay eggs and reproduce without a male snake or parthenogenesis. So far it is known that there are more than 2,900 species of snakes in the world. Of these, around 375 species are venomous snakes. Venomous snakes are a general term for snakes that have venom. The deadliest type of venomous snake is the taipan snake from Australia. Of most venomous snakes, most of their venom is not dangerous enough for humans. Generally, snakes try to avoid meeting humans. Primitive snakes, such as wire snakes, sac snakes, two-headed snakes and pythons, are non-venomous types of snakes. Most venomous snakes belong to the Colubridae family, but their venom generally has weak venom levels. Strongly venomous snakes usually belong to one of the Elapidae tribes, such as spoon snakes, striped snakes, and chili snakes. Then those included in the Hydrophytae tribe include sea snakes, and viperidae such as land snakes and sea corpse snakes. In the past hundreds or thousands of years, snakes have been exploited and used by humans. Like cobras, which are very venomous, and pythons, snakes are often used in displays of bravery. The bile, blood, and flesh of several types of snakes are considered highly effective medicines, especially in China and other eastern regions. Meanwhile, the skin of several types of snakes has high value as a material for jewelry, shoes, and bags. Like monitor lizards, snake skins, especially pythons, sac snakes, and anaconda snakes, are traded throughout the world, amounting to hundreds of thousands to millions of pieces of raw skin a year. In reality, snakes are now increasingly becoming extinct due to various arrests, unjustified killings, as well as damage to their habitat and environment. The snakes that used to play a role in controlling the rat population in rice fields and gardens, have now generally disappeared or decreased in number. So it is not surprising that, in places where rice fields have been damaged by hordes of rats, local farmers now need to reintroduce various types of rice field snakes and prohibit snake hunting in their villages. Humans actually don't need to be afraid of snakes because snakes themselves are actually afraid of humans. Snakes cannot chase humans, their slow movements are no match for humans. The average snake moves around 1.6 kilometers per hour. The fastest type is the mamba snake from Africa, which can run at a speed of 11 kilometers per hour. Meanwhile, humans, for comparison, can run between 16 to 24 kilometers per hour. Therefore, we as humans always continue to maintain biodiversity, especially in our environment, so that it becomes a perfect symbiosis.